Yes, YouTube, what are you telling me? It's Imhotep, aka Mr. Imo, and welcome back to another video. So today, it's just going to be a quick one again, following up from my last video that I released, I think it was last night. I'm just going to be going through the night method kind of stuff that I do when I go to bed. This is what I do every day before I go to bed. Make sure that I'm just taking care of my waves, so we get spinning. And just also, it's all very one thing with waves and stuff, wearing a durag every night. It's also very important to take care of your facial hygiene, because you got this thing on your head all night and you're sweating a little bit and stuff. You can imagine if you're not careful, you get a lot of like breakout and stuff. I'm going through kind of like just getting my skin back up to on point with my regime, but I'm just going to tell you what I do in it. So I'm going to pause the video, get to the next step. Which is basically just going to be me washing my face. Get a good scrub, wash your face. So we're going to come back in a second. Sorry guys, you're going to have to bear with me with these videos for a little bit because I don't have any kind of tripod, so it's a little bit difficult to try and get an angle of the camera where you'll be able to see what I'm doing, but I'm going to figure out a bit more. We're going to get the time, get myself a tripod of Amazon or something, make something happen, but just a little bit, just bear with me in the meantime, innit? So, yeah. Okay, let me just make sure I'm not covering the mic, yeah. Alright, so I've just finished washing my face. The next step is to put like a kind of a moisturizer. What I tend to use is, I'll just show you what I use. I'm not getting promotions or anything, but I use this cream, I put a little bit of it in my hand, and I squirt a little bit of vitamin E oil, and it helps to keep my skin clear when I do it consistently and just healthy. So I'm just going to do that now. You don't need a lot or anything either, it's just about this much of the cream, and then I'm going to add the oil in a second. Okay, so I've added it there. You can't really see it that well in the lighting, but it's just a little bit to show you. So I'm going to mix this in my hands and then just put it on my face, just to let you know what it's like. Okay, so that's all done now. Now for the next step, we're going to be talking a little bit about waves and what waves actually is. I wrote about it in my description, but just in case anybody didn't have a chance to read it. Waves is literally just curly hair, which is normally, growing up and outwards, being brushed and, covered at night with a durag. So that brushed effect remains, and it's just curls that's being laid down. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put in a brush session, which is a very quick, just doesn't have to be long right before you go to bed, maybe about, I don't know, 5, 10, 20 minutes, just brushing quickly. And what I tend to do is I put my moisturizer, which I'm using is Shea Moisture Curl Enhancing Smoothie. It doesn't really matter too much which one you can use, as long as the what do you call it, the ingredients are natural. It's best for your hair, it's just for your hair health, but you can use whatever you want to use, just something to moisturize it. And the whole purpose of it is just to help your hair move while you're brushing it, so that you can get it to lay down in the way that you're brushing. And what I then do after I finish brushing that into my hair is I tend to go in with a little bit of coconut oil, just regular, like natural raw coconut oil. I don't use any special products with it, just raw coconut oil. Just rub a small bit in my hands, rub it in my hair, do a light brush session. And what I'm going to do with this brush session, I'm going to start with using the medium brush. That's usually the kind of, with waves you don't really need to, it depends on your hair texture. If you're more like of a coarse haired waver, you might tend at a certain length, just to get a better pull on your hair, you might need to use a hard brush, But for a lot of, like, for example, with medium hair, I'm stuttering. I'm mixed, so my hair is like it's like medium coarseness, like it gets curly, but it's not coarse, so I don't really need to use a hard brush that much, unless I'm really wolfing. But yeah, so for the most people, if you have hair like mine, majority of the time the brush you're going to be using is a medium brush. So you can pick this up at any kind of local beauty shop or whatever. So as I said, I'm rambling. Gonna do a quick brush session with the curl enhancing smoothie, then go over it again with the coconut oil. And what I was gonna say about that is, usually after I've done the quick brush session with the medium, when I brush with the coconut oil, I usually use a soft brush, or just one softness down. So if you do your brush sessions with a hard brush, if you're going to put oil in your hair and brush it in a little bit, use one brush down, just because it won't pull as much of the hair. It won't undo or like redo essentially any of the brushing that you just done, and it just adds the sheen into your hair and spreads out through all of your hair, so that you get like a good even coat. But yeah, so I'm going to start in with the cream. I'll show you how this works, because this cream is very thick and you don't need a lot of it. Right. So literally, you only need about a maximum of this much because it's very thick and it's gonna go. So I'll show you what I mean. You just put it on your hand, rub it in, and it spreads everywhere. So you just pat that onto your hair, kind of smooth it in the same way that you brush. So always follow the pattern that you're brushing in to get your, when you're putting in your products, anything with your hair, just always go to the same pattern. It just helps to keep things consistent. So I'm just gonna do that now. One thing I will also say is, after you've put in your product onto your hair, maybe wipe your hands on a towel or something, just in case you don't want to get, product on your brush handles, or, just make things sticky and messy and you have to brush them, you have to clean them, and it's just a bit easier that way. So really just getting all of it on my hands, onto my hair. Right, so that's in now. I'm just going to brush it in and help it go along its way. One thing about this, it's going to be a little bit difficult to do this because I need both hands to show you, because I need both hands, but let me just try it in. Yeah, that should be calm. Yeah. So, one thing that's very important about brushing with your waves is you should always have a mirror present so that, you're making sure that you're hitting the right angles. My mirror isn't in the bathroom right now, I'm just going to pause the video, get it, and come back. Right, so any simple hand mirror, any simple hand mirror will do the trick. You just want to, look in the mirror, hold it up, look at where you've got your product, look at your hair pattern that you're trying to brush for, whether you're trying to brush for like a 720s or 360s, or you're trying to get, especially with the crown, so like if you want to have a swirled crown or like a 360 or like a beehive crown, you just brush accordingly to your design that you were looking for. And in future I'll make videos explaining what all those things are, but right now I'm just going to show you a quick method of what I'm doing at night. So now I'm just going to go in with the brush. So I'm just looking at, really always brush from the crown, so you're making sure that you're setting your pattern in right from where your hair starts, because the crown is everything, it's where your hair begins. So always make sure that you brush from the crown. It's also a good thing to swap over. If you're brushing on the left side of your head, you should use your left hand. If you're brushing on the right side of your head, you should use your right hand. When you try to use the other hand to do it, it can make things a bit sticky, and you kind of end up brushing at angles, and you start to overlap. You'll get overlaps in your waves, and that's called forks. And those aren't, we're not really out here trying to get forks, we're trying to be out here spinning. So just take your time and brush all your angles. That's one thing about waves, it looks cool, but you really have to put in the time. But it's worth it. So just really brushing that in, making sure I get it all over my hair. You kind of get the gist of what I'm doing, like I'm turning the angles of the mirror to make sure I'm getting it all over, so I can see what I'm doing. I'm going to pause the video now while I continue, and then I'm going to come back and show you what I do with the coconut oil. Right, so like I said before, I'm back. Similar story with the coconut oil. We don't need a lot, we just need a small bit on our hands to go all over our head. So I'll just show you how much I use. About this much is more than enough. Yeah, I might put a little bit back actually. Yeah. Because it's just to cover the layer of your hair. You've already put the moisture in. This is more to keep your hair healthy, your scalp healthy, and give your hair the shiny look. But yes, I rub it in my hands. You can see it's all in there. Then I do the same thing. I just work it in my hair, with the same pattern that I brush with. So just gonna do that in the meantime, and then I'll pause the video and show you again the brushing. Okay, So I'm back now. Just gonna pick up the soft brush real quick, do a very quick session, just to, you know, smooth over everything, you know, and also spread out, make sure the coconut oil is spread out evenly. Because you don't want to have, one thing about coconut oil, it's really important to rub it good in your hands, because, you know, coconut oil, how it is hard and then it melts. But if you don't rub it up properly and make sure they all melt in your hands before you put it in your hair, it will start to look like you got dandruff, and, you know, nobody wants that. So, you know, make sure you mix it up properly so it melts and go in with it on your hair. And like I said, this soft brush, after you've done your brush session, it's not going to have much pull, but it's just going to smooth over and make your waves, your hair look a bit better. So yeah, just a brief, quick one, and we're pretty much done. Try to show you a bit how it looks. So I'm not really spinning right now, I'm starting from scratch. I'd scalped a couple times, and, you know, just kind of starting all over. So, you know, just to show you like the journey and stuff. The last thing we're going to do before we put the durag on, before we're done, is something called the plastic bag method. And essentially what you're doing is you're kind of really taking out any of the wispy bits, because our hair's curly, any of the bits that are sticking up after you've brushed. It's going to help to lay those down, and, you know, make sure that your hair is laid. So, you know, that's what we're going to do. I usually keep one on deck in the bathroom all the time. It can be any kind of plastic bag, it literally doesn't matter. You can use a shopping bag, any kind of bag, just anything with this kind of thing. Ziploc if you have it, anything. Don't have to spend a lot of money on this stuff at all. And you just smooth down. All over, smooth down. And again, go with your pattern. I'm trying to get 360s with a swirl. So I'm going around a little bit of an angle around my crown, which is towards the back right of my head. Now I'm going to be doing a lot more videos as the ideas come to my head with this. It's going to be a little bit intuitive and interactive, so it's nothing really, just one of them things. If you bear with me, we'll get through a lot of like wave knowledge and stuff. Like, because it just occurred to me, for example, to talk about the crown, in the sense that of, you know, locating it and stuff. How do you find it? It's the easiest way to find it is to cut all your hair, like get a one or something. You'll be able to see it. I have something which is very rare, which is a double crown. I don't know if you can see it, but it's like I've got one here and like one right next to it over here. And as a result of that, in between, sometimes the hair sticks up a little bit. And for me, the way I deal with that is I brush around and over. So I make one crown more dominant than the other. And then at the end, when I actually get waves, it looks calm. Like I'll send you you don't have to worry if you have a double crown, you can have waves too, and you'll be spinning. But I'll put some, when I get some more editing skills, I'll put some photos and videos of, you know, my waves when they were the most official, and, you know, you'll see what I'm talking about. But that pretty much wraps it up. I'm not going to do anything more about, you know, durag, how to tie the durag, because I already did that in my other video. You know, just going to keep this video as short as possible. I'm already seeing it's very long, but yeah, so thanks for watching. I'm going to catch you next time, and safe.